I'm going to tell you why well-funded competitors still can't touch you. And it has nothing to do with working harder or being smarter. Let me paint you a scenario. You've built something meaningful, 500,000 in revenue, maybe 2 million. Bootstrap or small funding, lean team. Then you see a competitor launch, backed by millions, 50-person team, celebrity partnerships, massive ad budgets. Everyone tells you you're done. They have resources you'll never have. But here's what I've learned. Money can copy operations. Money cannot copy DNA. Today, I'm showing you your competitive genome, the 3-element combination that creates a position only you can occupy. Let's dive in. Most founders think competitive advantage comes from a single strength. Better product, better marketing, better team, better funding, better operations, better technology, better customer service. And yes, these things matter. But here's the problem. They're all operational advantages, and operational advantages can be copied with capital. Let me show you what I mean. I watched competitors constantly try to replicate what successful brands do. They can copy manufacturing processes, hire the same suppliers. They can copy marketing strategy, replicate the campaigns. They can copy retail experience, study the stores. They can copy pricing structure, matching the number. Everything operational, copyable. Give someone enough money and time, they can match it. Think about it in your own industry. When a well-funded competitor enters your space, what happens? They hire better designers, they outspend you on ads, they partner with bigger names, and they improve logistics. They poach your team members. Every single operational advantage can be matched or exceeded by a competitor with more resources. So, if operational advantages can be copied, what's the alternative? Structural advantage. Advantage encoded in your founder DNA that literally cannot be reverse engineered, no matter how much money your competitors have. This is what I call your competitive genome. And here's the beautiful part. It's not built on a single strand. It's the unique combination on 3 specific elements that, when multiplied together, create a position only you can occupy. Let me break this down. Your competitive genome has 3 strands, and I need you to understand something critical. Each strand alone is common. It's the multiplication of all 3 that creates structural advantage. Strand number 1, your lived experience. This is not your resume, not your education, not your job titles. This is the actual life experience that gave you insight others don't have. Here's a real example. You were a first-generation immigrant who navigated cultural displacement. You grew up in poverty and now work with luxury brands. You're neurodivergent in an industry designed for neurotypical people. You're a woman in a male-dominated field. You experienced a specific crisis that changed your worldview. This lived experience gives you pattern recognition that people who haven't lived it simply cannot have. Can someone study immigrant experiences academically? Sure. Can they authentically understand what it feels like to lose your cultural identity? Navigate between 2 worlds, rebuild belonging from scratch? No. That's the difference between learned knowledge and lived wisdom. Strand number 1 is about what you have lived through that gives you unique sidelines others don't have. Strand number 2, your origin wound. This is the problem you had to solve for yourself before you could solve it for others. The thing that kept you up at night, the gap you couldn't find a solution for, the need you had to create for yourself because nothing else existed. How this shows in real life. You couldn't find clothing that fit your body type, so you created it. You struggled with productivity systems that didn't work for your brain, so you built new ones. You needed flexible work as a parent, but no one offered it. You lost family stories and had nowhere to preserve them. You were priced out of services you needed, so you made them accessible. This origin wound gives you depth of understanding that market research cannot provide. Someone can survey 1,000 customers about a problem, but they cannot feel the urgency, the emotion, the specific nuance of a problem they have never personally experienced. When you have lived the problem, you understand it at a level no amount of research can replicate. That's strand number 2. Your origin wound is your obsession generator. Strand number 3, your capability fusion. This is the unlikely combination of skills, industries, or perspectives you bring together. Not just, I'm good at marketing and design. That's common. I'm a classical musician who became a data scientist who now works in healthcare. That specific combination is rare. An example would be corporate strategy background plus artisan craft knowledge, medical expertise plus creative storytelling, finance acumen plus social justice work, tech engineering plus spiritual wellness, academic research plus entertainment industry. This capability fusion allows you to pull innovations from industries others would never think to study. Someone can learn your individual skills, but they cannot replicate the specific combination that formed through your unique path. Now, here's where this gets powerful. Separately, each strand is unremarkable. Lots of people have immigrant experiences, lots of people have origin wounds, lots of people bridge different industries, but when you multiply these 3 strands together, you get a position literally no one else occupies. Strand 1 times strand 2 times strand 3 equals uncopyable competitive position. This is the difference between operational advantages and structural advantages. Operational advantages can be copied with money. Structural advantages are encoded in your DNA. Let me show you this with my own business because I can speak freely about my DNA. My strand 1 is cultural bridge. I'm Latvian, living in Germany. I've navigated between cultures my entire professional life, understanding what it means to preserve identity while adapting to maintain heritage while integrating to belong in multiple places and sometimes none. I understand what it feels like to be between worlds, how cultural preservation works in practice, the reconciliation of multiple identities, how people navigate tradition versus modernization. Is this unique? No. There are millions of cross-cultural people. My strand, too. Systems and pattern recognition. I started as a government clerk in Latvia. Then I moved to a completely new country, Germany, and climbed the corporate ladder in high-end retail operations and became the go-to person for seeing what's behind processes, mapping new ways forward. Here's what I discovered. The things I predict, they really come true. Not always immediately, but in the near future. I see patterns others don't see yet. This obsession, understanding why some businesses can charge 10 times their competitors, what patterns create longevity versus trends, how to decode invisible advantages and innovations that no one could see coming in your industry, that became my lens for everything. Is this unique? No. Many people work in corporate strategy. My strand number 3, cross-industry innovation. But here's what's different. I pull insights from different industries, apply them to tech startups. I extract patterns from heritage jewelry brands, translate them to services businesses. I study what works in education, adapt it to e-commerce. I understand how to think strategically at scale, how to honor craft and authenticity, and how to bridge both worlds through founder-to-founder communication. Is this unique? Not really. Some people bridge different industries. But watch what happens when we multiply them. Cultural navigation, Latvian to Germany, government to corporate, times pattern recognition that predicts the future times cross-industry systems thinking equals a strategist who sees what founders can't see from inside their business and helps them build from patterns that haven't become obvious yet. McKinsey consultants cannot do this. They have analytical rigor, but they don't have the immigrant client perspective, they don't predict patterns before they're obvious, and they don't speak founder to founder. Generic business coaches cannot do this. They have founder experience, but they don't have high-level systems thinking, and they don't have the pattern recognition that sees what's coming. Only I occupy this exact position. That's structural advantage, and the beautiful thing, it cannot be copied. Even if competitors study what I do, try to replicate my frameworks, hire people from similar backgrounds, they don't have my genome. They can copy my website, my frameworks, my marketing, but they cannot copy my DNA. That's the power of the competitive genome. Now let me show you how this works with a real brand. I'm going to analyze Hermes, because their competitive genome is one of the clearest examples of structural advantage I've ever seen. And I want you to notice, I didn't work with Hermes, but I can decode their genome because the patterns are visible once you know what to look for. Strand 1. Equestrian heritage expertise. Hermes started in 1837 making harnesses and bridles for horses. They have 180 plus years of leather craftsmanship rooted in equestrian culture. That lived experience, generations of leather work for the most demanding application, gives them insight into materials, durability, and craftsmanship that fashion brands don't have. Strand 2. Artisan preservation mission. Their origin wound, the rise of industrialization, threatened artisan craft. Hermes made it their mission to preserve handcraftsmanship in the mass production world. Every Birkin bag is made by a single artisan over 48 hours. That's not a production choice. That's an identity commitment. Strand number 3. Luxury scale systems. But here's the fusion. They didn't stay a small atelier. They built systems to scale artisan craft to $220 billion valuation. They combine traditional craft mastery plus modern luxury business systems plus global brand architecture. Equestrian heritage times artisan preservation times luxury scale equals a position where they can charge $10,000 for a bag and have a 6-year wait list. Now, look at what competitors cannot do. Louis Vuitton cannot become Hermes. They have luxury positioning, but they don't have equestrian heritage. Different origin story, different genome. Gucci cannot become Hermes because they have artisan craft, but they don't have the preservation mission origin. Different DNA. Generic fashion brands cannot become Hermes. They have manufacturing capability, but they don't have the 180-year heritage, and they don't have the artisan systems. Hermes is structurally unassailable, not because they have better products, but because they have an uncopyable genome. And here's what I want you to see. I just decoded Hermes' competitive genome without ever working with them. Because once you understand this framework, you can see the patterns everywhere. That's what I do in True North audits. I decode your genome so you can see what makes your business structurally different from everyone else. Alright, so how do you identify your own 3-strand genome? Here are the questions I ask in my audits. For strand 1, lived experience. What life experience gave you insight others don't have? What have you lived through that changed how you see the world? What patterns you notice that others miss? And why do you see them? If someone wanted your understanding, what would they have to experience? For strand 2, origin wound. What problem did you have to solve for yourself first? What kept you up at night before you started this business? What gap in the market did you personally experience? For strand 3, capability fusion. What unlikely skills do you combine? What industries or domains have you worked in that seem unrelated? What can you do because of your specific path that others can't? What innovations can you pull from industries others wouldn't think to study? This isn't just competence, it's rare combination. Once you identify all 3 strands, multiply them together. Strand 1 times strand 2 times strand 3 equals your uncopyable position. And that position becomes the foundation of everything. Your positioning, your pricing power, your strategic decisions, your competitive mode. Here's why this matters more than ever right now. We're entering what I call the age of origin. AI has made generic intelligence worthless. ChatGPT can create good enough strategy in 30 seconds. Your competitors can copy your tactics overnight. Best practices are available to everyone instantly. So what becomes valuable? What cannot be copied? Your origin story, your genome, your structural advantage. In 2025 and beyond, the businesses that win won't be the ones with the best AI tools. They will be the ones with the most clarity about their uncopyable DNA. So here's what I want you to do. Take 30 minutes today. Write down your 3 strands. Don't overthink it. Just answer those questions I gave you. What's your lived experience? What's your origin wound? What's your capability fusion? Then multiply them together and see what position emerges. If you want more structure, I have a free competitive genome mapping template. It's the same framework I use in my strategic audits, just in worksheet form. Link is in the description. And if you discover your genome and want to share it, drop it in the comments. Next week, we're going deep on natural operating rhythm. Why burnout isn't about working hard, it's about working in the wrong tempo for your business. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.